Owen Jones was interrupted by Adam Boulton, who quoted the latest poll information during a Brexit debate. On Friday, Theresa May delivered a speech at Downing Street after her controversial Chequers blueprint was dealt a series of blows at the informal Salzburg summit. Sky host Boulton pointed out Labour's problem of not pulling ahead in the polls, before he asked whether the party would eventually back a people's vote at the end of negotiations. He said, "The problem the Labour Party has at the moment is that it is still not pulling ahead in the opinion polls. On handling Europe, the Conservative Party is still ahead in opinion surveys, and it is true that the Labour Party doesn't seem to have a very firm policy as to what it would do if, as you expect, it were to win a general election. So let's take that point, because it is going to be discussed at the Labour Party conference. Should Labour now come out and say, we support the idea of the people's vote on the final deal?" Mr. Jones replied, "On the point of opinion polls, Labour obviously started on 24% last year in the general election. 6 weeks later they won 40%, so I wouldn't get too bogged down in opinion polls." Brexit news. Adam Boulton pointed out Labour were behind in the polls during the tense interview. Image, Sky News. "They're behind at the moment. That is all I am saying." Sky host Adam Boulton, the Sky News host, interrupted the Guardian columnist, adding, "They're behind at the moment. That is all I am saying." Mr. Jones replied, "Well, they are 2 points behind, but they started the last general election 24 points behind, so I probably won't lose as much sleep over that as I did in the last general election at the beginning." The Guardian columnist then answered whether Labour should adopt the policy of backing a people's vote at the end of Brexit negotiations. He said, "The problem we have as a country is the last referendum unleashed demons, in terms of divisions in this country, which have left us the most divided and polarized in the country. I don't like Brexit. Cards on the table. If I had a big red button with Stop Brexit on it, I would push it, but the people decided by a narrow majority to leave. If there was a second referendum, which we may end up in that situation because there is no other way out. The worry is that would be more decisive as the first, and it would be portrayed as the establishment rerunning the vote until they get the right result, which is why, as things stand, what Labour should be arguing for is the softest possible Brexit that you can marry with a democratic decision of the British people." The latest YouGov poll for Westminster voting intentions from September 12 to 13 puts the Conservative Party on 40% compared to Labour on 36%. The survey asked 1620 people in the UK. Prime Minister Theresa May has repeatedly said there would not be a second referendum. Leading Labour Party figures, including Shadow Brexit Secretary Sir Keir Starmer and Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell, have both said all options are on the table should Mrs May's deal get voted down in the House of Commons. On Friday, Mrs May said, "I have always said that these negotiations would be tough, and they were always bound to be toughest in the final straight. While both sides want a deal, we have to face up to the fact that despite the progress we have made, there are two big issues where we remain a long way apart.